Welcome to an extraordinary revelation in space exploration. February 12, 2026, marks a turning point in our understanding of the cosmos. Just 4 hours ago, the James Webb Space Telescope sent back data that defies all logic and challenges the very principles of science as we know it. The object at the heart of this mystery is called 3E Atlas, and what we're witnessing goes against everything we thought was possible. At exactly 8:14 a.m. UTC today, the cameras observing 3E Atlas saw a startling burst of light. But here's the shocking part. The light isn't coming from the sun, and it's not a mere reflection. Picture this. 3E Atlas is currently 240 million kilometers from Earth, floating in an area of space where sunlight is weak, almost non-existent. A comet, essentially a dirty snowball made up of ice and rock, should be nearly invisible in such conditions. But today, this object defied all expectations by suddenly lighting up from the inside. Think about it for a moment. A celestial body that has never been known to generate its own light is now glowing. How is this possible? This should not be happening. A comet by nature does not have a power source. It has no nuclear center like a star or a bioluminescent property like a firefly. Yet NASA's Deep Space Network is receiving data that shows 3E Atlas is indeed glowing. And it's not some random burst of light. The object is steadily emitting light, continuously. The implications of this are vast and beyond the scope of ordinary space phenomena. Now, let me break down why this is so incredible. If you took a mountain made of rock, froze it to the coldest temperature possible, and placed it in the vacuum of space, it would remain dark forever. The law of entropy dictates that it should stay cold and dead. But somehow, 3E Atlas is doing the opposite. Its brightness has increased by 400% in just the last 6 hours. This isn't a glitch or a malfunction in the sensors. This is something active happening inside an object that was once considered lifeless. And that's just the start of this unprecedented discovery. To truly understand the gravity of this, we need to step back and examine the true nature of 3E Atlas. When it was first spotted by the Pan-STARRS telescope, it was assumed to be an interstellar object, a piece of leftover debris from a star system far beyond our own. The idea was simple. It was just a rock, frozen, drifting through space. But today, that idea was shattered. Stay tuned, because we're about to dive deeper into the scientific implications of this bizarre discovery and what it means for our understanding of the universe. The color of the light coming from 3E Atlas could change everything. It's not just the presence of light that's so perplexing, it's the exact color of the light itself. The data coming in is precise and clear. This is no random event. It's been confirmed, triple-checked by 3 separate telescopes. But what does this mean for us? What does this mean for science? The discovery of 3E Atlas's unexpected glow isn't just a matter of a light turning on where it shouldn't. What makes this even more bizarre is how the light behaves. The James Webb Space Telescope, using its NIRCam camera, was the first to pick up the strange burst of light. At first, scientists thought it was a glitch, perhaps the result of the telescope accidentally pointing at a distant star. But when they checked the tracking data, everything was perfectly aligned. The light wasn't coming from a star, and it was moving in sync with the object. It wasn't a mistake. It was real. 30 minutes later, the European Space Agency instructed the Gaia spacecraft to take a look at the same spot in the sky. Gaia, known for its precision in mapping stars, confirmed that the brightness of 3E Atlas had jumped by 5 times in intensity. This wasn't just a random flicker, it was a genuine, noticeable change. But the strangest part came when scientists turned to the ALMA, Atacama Large Millimeter Array, in the Chilean desert. The ALMA array, consisting of 66 radio antennas, isn't designed to detect light, but heat. So, when they pointed their instruments at 3E Atlas, they were expecting to detect a significant heat signature if the object was indeed glowing. However, what they found was even more confounding. There was no corresponding heat spike. 3E Atlas was glowing, but it wasn't hot. The surface temperature was still around -40 degrees Celsius, and yet it was emitting light. This isn't something that happens in the natural world. Usually, light and heat go hand in hand. Think of the sun. It glows because it's hot. A light bulb glows because its filament gets hot. But here we have an object that's frozen, emitting light without generating heat. This is known as cold light or luminescence, a phenomenon we see on Earth in fireflies or during chemical reactions, but it has never been observed in space, especially not in a comet. It's as if 3 Atlas is breaking all the known rules of physics, and if that wasn't strange enough, there's another layer of mystery. The light emitted by 3 Atlas isn't chaotic, it's organized, almost like it's following a specific pattern. Light usually comes in a variety of colors, but this light, it's almost entirely monochromatic, with the colors centered around the 450 nanometer wavelength. This is deep, vibrant blue. This isn't the kind of blue you see in a regular light source. It's a shade of blue that, in natural circumstances, would require temperatures exceeding 10,000 degrees Celsius, hotter than the surface of our Sunday. Yet, 3 Atlas is frozen, and somehow it's producing this intense blue light. This defies everything we know about how objects behave in space. Now, here's where things get even more peculiar. As the data continued to pour in, scientists at JPL noticed another unusual phenomenon. The brightness of the light wasn't stable, it fluctuated. It went up and down, dropping by 20% and then rising again, almost like a heartbeat. The pulse pattern was remarkably consistent, with a period of exactly 23.4 seconds. This was no random fluctuation. This was a rhythmic, repeating pulse, something you'd expect from a machine, not from a natural object. Nature doesn't work like this. When an asteroid or comet flickers, it does so unpredictably. But 3 Atlas's light pulses with eerie regularity. The fact that it's so precisely timed makes it almost impossible to explain through natural processes. The discovery has left scientists at a loss for answers. As one expert put it, we are witnessing something that breaks the rules. Comets aren't supposed to behave this way. They don't emit steady light. They don't have internal energy sources. And yet, 3 Atlas is doing just that. It's as if we've stumbled upon a new kind of object, one that doesn't fit into any category we've ever seen before. What could explain this? The scientific community is scrambling for answers. Some are considering the possibility of strange chemical reactions or crystal structures that could interact with the solar wind, but nothing fully explains the data. 3 Atlas is challenging everything we thought we knew about space objects. And that's just the beginning. But the story doesn't end there. As the investigation continued, a new twist emerged. Around 12:30 UTC, the Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia, the largest movable radio telescope in the world, turned its attention to 3 Atlas. Scientists wanted to examine the pulsing blue light more closely, hoping to understand whether the fluctuations in brightness were truly random or if there was a deeper pattern. What they found was even more startling. The flickering wasn't just random noise, as it would be in a natural object. Instead, the changes in brightness followed a precise, repeating sequence. There were 3 sharp bursts of high energy, followed by a long pause, and then 3 more bursts. This pattern wasn't just a random fluctuation, it was structured, like a message, like someone was sending a signal. Now, think about that for a moment. In nature, we see patterns all the time, rhythmic beats, such as a pulsing heartbeat or the spin of a rotating object. But these patterns are usually simple. They don't convey complex information. Yet, this pattern, 3 bursts, followed by a pause, then another 3 bursts, is highly organized. It's structured in a way that's reminiscent of language. It's as though the object is encoding information in the way it pulses, something that nature doesn't usually do. This is the point where the data from 3 Atlas starts to resemble something deliberate, something engineered, not just a random cosmic event. I have spent years studying the strange and the unexplained in space. And even with my experience, what we're seeing here doesn't fit the conventional models of space physics. As we've discussed, comets don't behave this way. They don't turn on like a machine. They don't emit steady light. And they certainly don't follow a rhythmic pulse with precise timing. But the data is clear. It's consistent. It's real. This is something entirely different. The term comet doesn't even begin to describe what we're dealing with. It's as if we've encountered something that's more than a comet, something more than just a space rock. And that's why when scientists released their initial report, they didn't even use the word comet. They've reclassified it as Object 3I. Why the change? Because this object doesn't behave like any comet we've ever known. It's a new kind of phenomenon altogether. So, what exactly is it? The search for answers continues, and the data keeps pouring in. The question now is, are we looking at some kind of exotic natural event, or is this something artificial? Could it be a sign of something more advanced, something beyond our comprehension? As the days go on, we're getting closer to uncovering the truth. But so far, every theory we've tested only leads to more questions. And we're just getting started. There's more to come, and the implications of this discovery are profound. As the data from 3 Atlas continued to pour in, the discovery took another mind-blowing turn. At exactly 14 UTC, something changed. Up until that point, the light emitted by 3 Atlas had been omnidirectional, illuminating space in all directions like a bulb. But then, suddenly, the light started to focus. The sensors on the European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft noticed a decrease in brightness. At first, they thought the light had dimmed or stopped altogether. But then, the data from the James Webb Space Telescope positioned at a different angle showed something unexpected. The brightness had actually doubled. What was happening? The light didn't stop. It didn't fade, it changed, it focused. The object transitioned from emitting a scattered glow to sending out a concentrated beam like a lighthouse. And that's when the implications of this discovery became truly alarming. You see, the physics of this moment are nothing short of extraordinary. Natural phenomena like gas jets or explosions usually radiate energy in all directions. But here we're seeing a beam focused, precise, and directed. This isn't how comets work. This is something that requires structure, something that has the capability to shape the energy it's emitting. In the natural world, energy disperses in a sphere, but to focus energy into a beam, you need something designed to do that, a lens, a nozzle, or some other kind of structure. Nature doesn't create beams, technology does. And this is where things get really unsettling. The fact that 3 Atlas can focus its energy in such a directed way suggests there's some kind of internal organization at play. This isn't just a random comet. It's an object that's actively shaping and controlling its energy emissions. This is where the discovery takes a turn into the unknown. If 3 Atlas has the ability to focus light, it means it's not just a lifeless rock floating through space. It means this object has some kind of internal structure, something that can shape electromagnetic waves. This challenges everything we know about space objects. It's no longer just a comet, it's something else entirely. The fact that it can change the way it emits light, the fact that it can focus its energy and direct it at a specific point in space, that's something we've never seen before. And as the data continued to come in, scientists began to realize that this is no ordinary object. This is something far more complex, and it's making us question everything we thought we knew about space. But the biggest shock of all came when we realized exactly where that beam was pointing. The path of the light, the direction it was traveling, led scientists to a chilling conclusion. At exactly 16:45 UTC today, the Hubble Space Telescope captured something that made scientists stop in their tracks. The beam from 3 Atlas, which had been sweeping through space, wasn't just pointing at any random spot in the sky. It was aimed directly at Earth. Yes, you heard that right. The beam, which had been traveling across space, was now locked onto our planet. Not only was it locked onto Earth, but it was tracking our movement around the sun. As the Earth moved, the beam adjusted to stay locked onto us. This is what scientists call active pointing, and it's a behavior that we associate with high-tech antennas, things that are deliberately engineered to focus and track a signal. To put it simply, 3 Atlas is actively targeting Earth, and the implications of that are both mind-boggling and terrifying. In nature, a comet or asteroid wouldn't be able to track Earth like this. If it were just a cloud of gas or a rock tumbling through space, the beam would scatter as the object rotated. But this beam is locked on us, adjusting in real time to stay focused on our planet. It's as if this object is communicating with us or perhaps even targeting us for some unknown reason. As scientists analyzed the data further, they made an even more chilling discovery. When the beam locked onto Earth, the brightness of the light spiked once again, and for the first time, they were able to detect the chemical composition of that light. Using a rainbow color measurement tool, the team was able to identify something truly shocking. The light coming from 3 Atlas contained a substance called technium. Technium is element number 43 on the periodic table, and it has some very peculiar characteristics. It doesn't exist naturally on Earth, and it doesn't have any stable forms. If you find technium in a star, it means the star is creating it through nuclear fusion. But 3 Atlas isn't a star. It's a frozen object, one that shouldn't have the ability to create technium. And yet, here it is, embedded in the very light that is being emitted from the object. This discovery is a game changer. If 3 Atlas is indeed creating technium, that suggests it has an active internal process at play, something that is generating energy, something that can create synthetic elements. This is not a natural occurrence. This is an object that is, in some way, manufacturing energy and elements that shouldn't be there. The presence of technium suggests a nuclear process is happening inside 3 Atlas. But how? And why? This is where the mystery deepens even further. What exactly is 3 Atlas? Is it an alien object, a piece of technology, or is this something else entirely, something we have no frame of reference for? The answer to that question will change everything. As you can imagine, the implications of this discovery are profound. If 3 Atlas is some kind of alien technology, if it's actively generating energy and emitting signals at us, then we are facing an entirely new era of space exploration. This isn't just about discovering a new comet or space object. This is about uncovering something far more complex, something that may challenge our very understanding of physics, technology, and perhaps even life itself. But there is still one question that remains unanswered. What is the purpose of the beam? Is it a signal, a message, or is it something more sinister, like a targeting system? The fact that the beam is locked onto Earth and tracking our movement suggests that we might be the intended recipient of this signal. But what does that mean for us? If this is a message, what is it trying to communicate? And if it's a targeting system, then what happens when the signal reaches us? The next few days will be critical in answering these questions. As 3 Atlas approaches its closest point to the Sun, its perihelion scientists are watching closely. If the object survives the intense heat, if it keeps emitting the beam, then we will know for sure that it's not just a frozen rock. We will know that this object has a structure, a purpose, and possibly even a message for us. Right now, the world's leading space agencies are on high alert, analyzing the data as it comes in. The discovery of 3 Atlas has the potential to rewrite the textbooks on space physics, and the entire scientific community is holding its breath. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. The universe is full of surprises, and 3 Atlas is one of the greatest surprises we've ever encountered. So, what do you think? Is this the discovery of the century, or is there something more we still don't understand? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates as we continue to track the mystery of 3 Atlas. The truth is out there, and we're about to find it.